3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to our new video. What? It's like I'm teaching. Okay, you do it, please.
Just naturally.
I can't do it naturally. You do it.
Just say, like, naturally.
That is natural.
Come on.
Hello and welcome.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another video. If it's the first time you're here, thank you so much. I am Danah.
And I'm Hinton.
And this video is a bit different than our last ones. As you can see, we are on our new boat, and we just wanted to catch you up with what happened since our last video.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So in our last video, we kind of left you hanging when I went to go look at a boat in Turkey, and yeah, although we were very hopeful on that boat, it didn't turn out to be. So we're going to run through basically the timeline from before that point, in fact, from when we put Gem up for sale until we purchased this boat. I reckon that's about right. Good. So we had a bit of interest in Gem from sort of day one that we listed her with the broker, and we won't be mentioning names or anything like that. We're just running through basically the ins and outs, but not in too much detail.
Our own personal experience.
Yeah.
And we listed Gem around December 2023.
Yeah, around
there.
Possibly November.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a buyer in December who got hold of the broker saying that he wants to buy the boat, he wants a quick purchase, and he gave us an offer which was quite a bit below our asking price, but we did have one or two boats in mind already, so we accepted the offer, and we thought that would get the ball rolling, so to say. So that was December, and then he went completely out of comms until
March. Yeah, the story is like he said he was interested in December, and the last video you saw of Hinton traveling to see the Athena in Turkey, that was in January, because of course we said yes to the offer, so we were very excited.
We started arranging our plans,
thinking that the interested buyer would sign the contracts with the broker, and that's the reason we got a broker too, so that we could make it everything legal, easy,
straightforward,
from afar if it had to be like that. So he traveled to Turkey. We loved the boat, but we couldn't pay the deposit because this interested buyer just went suddenly silent.
Yeah.
Until March.
Right. So in January, I visited the boat in Turkey. I had a good feeling about the boat. There was some work to be done. You can watch that video if you wish to.
It was an owner's version.
Yeah, which was great. It kind of checked a lot of the boxes that we were looking at in our desired model of boat, specifically. So we couldn't put a deposit on that boat because we didn't have the full amount, and we also couldn't afford to lose the deposit for whatever reason, you know. So because the buyer went quiet and we didn't have any serious interest other than that, because the airport in Preveza closes down during winter, so it's quite difficult for potential buyers to actually come and view the boat, and then the weather plays a big part also. So we will fast forward then to March when we hold out, and actually we also spent a considerable amount of money on the renewal of the berth for Gem, because we thought we might just hold on to her for another season. We hold out and we prepared Gem in March for the season, and that came also with a cost. So yeah,
which we were happy to pay, because we
course
said like, okay, we won't sell her, we'll just keep her for another season, maybe two. We love her.
Yeah, we need to.
It's okay.
You know, you can't just not maintain a boat.
Yeah.
All right. So then in April No, in
end of March, beginning of April, we were not so sure. That interested buyer reconnects with us and sends a message. The funny part is like he sends a message still trying to get the boat for the same offer that he did in December.
The quick sale
The
price.
quick sale price. And
3 months prior.
And we were like, it hasn't been a quick sale.
Yes. And we're coming into the season where the interested parties who did show interest were now able to start viewing the boat. So we said at that price, unfortunately not. Now we had already dropped the price during winter, so we let him know the new price, and if he was still interested at that price, sure, he's welcome to come and have a look and move forward if he wishes to. So at that point in time, we had already begun the season. And
we started sailing, actually.
Yeah, and we were local, but we had our season sail plan set, and it was in motion. The broker got hold of us and said the guy is still interested at the listing price, and he understands that the only way that we would entertain that, whereby he comes and views the boat, is if he's happy at the price that we're now asking. He said sure, and we arranged for him to come, and this takes us into April.
Mid-April.
Yeah.
Early
to prepare the boat, to have it looking amazing.
Yeah.
And we had a date set, and I believe it was at that point that he delayed his arrival. Yeah, by a week or so.
By a week.
So it just kind of cuts time out of our life and our season, our plans and things like that. So anyway, he arrived, we sat down, and he pulled out his computer with Google Translate, and he immediately went back to talking about the price that he initially offered us.
Last December.
Yeah.
Before all the work was done and the marina renewed.
Yeah. So we've spent a lot of money on top of that, and he's telling us that he's willing to buy it at the price which he said he would for an immediate sale. So we agreed to a slight negotiation in the price, and we thought that we had come to an arrangement. So the next day, we were also going through a bit of a stressful time.
Some personal things.
Yeah, nothing hectic.
Serious.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of commitments and stressful times.
So we woke up to an email saying about the price. Once again, let's talk about it being lower.
After shaking hands with Hinton, you didn't mention they shook hands.
That's why I
agreed on a price.
I didn't want to get very personal in this video, but
it shows my stress about this.
Yeah, it kind of shows a person's worth.
Yeah,
at the end
shook
of the day.
hands, agreed on a price. We were happy about it. Next day, an email again talking about the price.
We did. We came, as I mentioned, we came to another price, and a couple of days later, he was staying for the week in Preveza, I think, and he came back saying that we're not quite there with the price, so he asked for another reduction. A little bit annoyed, obviously. We sort of met halfway again, and we found what I was expecting to be the right price, for both of us. I think we're still here.
Yeah, because also we didn't mention that between all this, when we were sailing, we met another interested buyer, actually.
True.
We met another interested buyer that came to see the boat, so we were half-half in that situation. Like, whoever wants it must pay a deposit or at least sign a contract, because we were waiting still for the Turkey boat to be available, and it was, until it wasn't.
And then, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, and just another input there is that we had found another boat, an Athena, which was based in Spain, perfect, EU VAT paid.
A bit newer, I think.
A bit newer, very well kept, and
of course I'm from Spain, so it worked out perfectly also for us to go back there.
Yeah, yeah. Just to receive the boat, and we can make our way anywhere we wanted. And then I'd also put a post on Facebook asking for any Athenas specifically for sale, and I'd gotten a response from a chap who was sailing from France
towards
to the Aegean, basically.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let's try and meet up at some point in Greece, in the Ionian and Western Greece somewhere. And I would like to view the boat, because I'd seen one, the Turkish one, and I could see us living aboard. But Danah hadn't yet stepped on the boat, so this was the most convenient way for her to see if she in fact likes the boat. We met him when we were in in what's the island?
In Paxos.
Paxos.
In Mongonisi, by chance.
Yeah, yeah.
But that is after.
But it's
okay, yeah. It's around April, around April, May. It's around all that stressful time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We met him by chance. That was the thing also.
So, digressing. We once again agreed on a price, and we had now dropped the price a fairly large amount because we had these other boats lined up. So the buyer ended up leaving after the week he was here, returning to his country without paying deposit.
And doing everything. Seeing inventory.
Yeah.
Liking the boat, supposedly.
Mm-hmm. And our relationship had already turned somewhat sour, you know. So I got the broker to deal with him because up until that point I was doing everything, we were doing everything, and it was now the broker's time to make their commission. Good. So while he was back in his country, he was chatting. He was looking at the sales and purchase agreement and the contract with his lawyers, who were not maritime lawyers. They were just I don't know exactly what they were, but with the sort of context being lost in translation from English to his language, he basically changed a lot in the contract, which is set up by our brokers and the only contract that we were willing to go by. He sent an amended contract, which we didn't agree to.
No.
Yeah, we couldn't agree to anything, honestly.
We couldn't.
So anyway, nothing happened. That was from December until April of this year, 2024. And the Turkish Athena is now sold.
Yeah, we lost that one.
Yeah. And it looks like we weren't moving forward with this buyer. So we just continued sailing. And we did find a couple of other buyers who viewed the boat. It didn't work out. So that's okay. They were either looking for a bigger boat, or they possibly weren't too serious. But look, they were looking, and that's fine. We're happy, always happy to show the boat. Can you take over?
Yeah, and then we're in May now. We are sailing. And this other buyer that wasn't sure yet, that isn't signing the contract, isn't paying the deposit. We lose the boat in Turkey. And that trip, that is when we meet with the other person that contacted you that had an Athena. And that's when I, for the first time, step on an Athena, and I love it, and I'm really really excited to buy a boat like that, but I wasn't very sure we could. So I didn't. We couldn't at that time. So I didn't want to get, like overly, how do you say in English, like excited, like have illusions about it, because I was already personally, Hinton knows, and our friends know, I was already so stressed and so angry about 6 months of this, and of course our plans changing. I'm also working, stressing out. I already didn't want to sell Gem, honestly. Like, I was done with everything.
Yeah.
And in that moment of being done with everything, that's when we meet this nice person, shows us the Athena. And so I stay quiet, I stay patient, thinking like maybe we can sell her and get this boat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But...
And we also had the Athena in Spain.
Still there, but we knew it was going to sell fast because it was amazing. And we were like, not so hopeful, right? That he was going to sign the contracts, the buyer, and we would have our deposit in time.
Mm.
So then at the end of May or mid-May, he contacts us again, the buyer. We contact him and say, at this point, we are already super stressed. And I told Hinton, like, let's just say, we already signed our part of the contract. That's the thing. So we are just waiting for him to sign if he agrees. And he doesn't. So one day, I'm already out of patience. And I told Hinton, I'm going to write to the brokers and say we don't want to sell anymore to this person.
Mm-hmm.
That same day, when we write this email and say that we don't want to sell anymore, that's the day he signs the contract.
Like 20 minutes afterwards.
20 minutes afterwards, and starts threatening that if we don't sell it, because we already had signed the contracts, he starts threatening us that he's going to
take
sue us
legal
or
action.
Take legal action, and that's what we only wanted since the beginning.
Completely unbased, you know. And it just goes to show character.
Yeah.
But it did
work.
it did sort of reinforce to some extent that he was serious in buying the boat.
Yeah.
So in that moment, the Athena in Spain was sold.
Yeah.
So
we lost that one.
Yeah, we had lost 2 boats, which we were hoping just to have this process completed with, and then we could sort of have our pick of boats. Now we were down to potentially no boats, because when we visited this third option, the French chap who we met in Mongonisi,
in Paxos
Island, I wasn't looking at that boat too seriously, in the sense that I didn't do a survey, I didn't take a checklist with me and really inspect it. It was more so just so Danah can step foot on the boat and, you know, kind of know if we're looking in the right direction in terms of boats. So the Athena in Spain sold, and
we didn't have anywhere to go now, because of course the buyer signs the contract at this moment. We signed the contract. Gem is going to be sold, but we agree, because this was the last thing that we had to agree, that the takeover, how do you say, like the takeover, the exchange, would only happen in June. and as you know, almost everyone that sails Greece, June is a very expensive month to stay in Airbnbs or to stay anywhere.
Jabu.
That's our dog drinking water, sorry.
Jabu, come.
So we were a bit worried about what to do, because we didn't have a new boat. We didn't know what we were going to do. We
still didn't honestly know if we were going to sell the boat.
Yeah, we still didn't trust 100% that everything was going to go well, because the agreement that he signed and that we signed was he would only buy the boat if everything in the inventory, again, goes well in June.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have said no, maybe in June. So we were a bit worried and we couldn't do anything.
And he still hadn't paid a deposit the first time he was here, which then, if he had, we could have taken him for a test sale. But he was under the impression that he deserved a test sale without paying a deposit, which is not
normal.
Yeah, it's just not typically how it's done.
Yeah, the sea trial, you did it in April.
Yes, still no deposit.
No deposit. We still did it. We
refused.
did everything. Yeah.
I got hold of the broker and said, you know, how should we move forward? I want the deposit paid, and he doesn't want to pay it. And they just said, if you want to sell the boat, you probably should take him out on a sea trial and forego the deposit.
So then waiting until June, which is the date we agreed on meeting again.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when June comes. And good things happened actually in June, because we were still not knowing where we were going to live or what we were going to do, and we met randomly because of friends. We met an older couple, a very nice couple that offered us to stay on their boat in this same marina during the period of time we needed between selling Gem and buying, hopefully, our new boat here in Greece, which we didn't know if it was going to happen or not. So that was awesome. Actually, the universe shined a light at us and we had a place to stay in June. And then the buyer came. Hinton did like a 6-hour inventory checklist. Very extreme, very thorough. And eventually he signed full takeover. I don't know how you say, like, everything eventually was done, and we sold Gem around mid-June, like around the 15th or 16th of June.
Yeah, 16th we sell Gem.
Yeah.
17th we did the inventory and the final paperwork and blah de blah. And yeah, so then we have, in a couple of days, money in the bank, minus the commission of the broker, and we are in an apartment. And then moved there in an apartment for 2 weeks, and then we moved to our friend's boat in July. And
June, July.
Yeah, when we were moving out of Gem, we sort of kept half our stuff with us, and half our stuff we stored it in a friend's house.
Thank you so much. You know who you are.
Yeah, and so August.
In July, we started speaking again to the seller of the boat that we were looking at, the last one left after losing the Turkey boat, the Spanish boat. We had this last boat that we saw in the Ionian by chance, and this time now we were serious about it. Now that we have sold Gem, Hinton was like serious about it. Wants to do like a sea trial. Wants to see the boat fully.
We're out of options.
And they were still around Greece sailing, right? So we were trying to plan the meeting.
Already rounding the Peloponnese or something. Yeah.
So we meet in Preveza, right, for the sea trial.
Yeah, so ultimately they do their trip. We had to wait for them to essentially finish their season, their trip, their planned sailing itinerary, which would have taken us to
August.
Yeah. They planned to arrive in Preveza around the 15th of August, which they did. And by that point, we had already had the contract signed. We did as much as we could from a distance. And then when they did arrive, we basically did a sea trial, which I'm going to include some clips of that. And yeah. And
we loved it. Well, he went on the test sail without me that day because, of course, I have to stay with the dogs. And the family was super nice. The people were super nice.
After our experience selling a boat, we just wanted to be the least
complicated buyers ever.
Yes. Yeah. So I think the sellers of this boat, it
became this boat.
Were extremely grateful for that. We just, we didn't talk them down on the price too much. The price was already fair, just over our budget. We asked them.
We were sincere about our budget. Honestly, we were really straightforward. Like, this is what we can do.
We want the boat. This is our max we honestly can do. And they said, okay. That's the minimum they're willing to receive, and that's how a negotiation should go.
And they were so nice that they ended up accepting and willing to sell the boat to us here in Preveza, without having to sail it back them to France, for us to have to move there somehow with the dogs to buy it there. So they changed all their plans, to travel back home by plane, send their boxes back. So we are actually very grateful for that.
Absolutely.
And I think we had a very good relationship. In comparison to what had just happened, I was just so grateful.
Yeah.
So this is August already. So yeah, Hinton did the test sail. We already did a lot of paperwork beforehand because, of course, when two parties understand each other and we are on the same page and no one is trying to,
Screw the other.
yes, then everything flows.
Yeah.
I think it flowed
Yeah.
very nicely. And mid-August, around that date when they came back, after the test sail, after looking at the boat, they were so nice as to come inside the marina for us.
Yeah, they paid one night. We paid the rest.
A few days more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the day after they arrived in the marina, we went into town. We did the paperwork. We did the notary
Everything.
side of things and paid the
rest.
the outstanding.
Because we did pay a deposit, of course.
And I think we paid a bit more than the deposit, and then we did a final settlement.
Yes, I think in like 3 times.
Yeah.
But it was all done before they left Greece.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It was done before we signed papers and whatnot. So that was the 19th. We spent a few days in the marina, just moving in.
Thank God we were staying in our friend's boat.
Yeah.
Here in the marina, so it was really funny because every boat we've had or stayed in is in the same marina in different piers.
Yeah.
So we moved from Gem to another boat, then from that other boat to our new boat, all in the same marina.
Yeah.
It seems like Preveza has trapped us here since September 2022.
Yeah. And once we had moved in, after spending a few days in the marina, the 24th of August, we left. We went to the anchorage just outside. And
that's when we did our renaming ceremony.
Yeah. Which we will show you guys in the next video.
And we named our boat Samudra.
Should we have kept that?
No.
Okay.
They already know from social media.
Well, yeah, so we're sitting on our new boat, completely moved in. This is a bit of a catch-up from everything that's transpired. And yeah, we're very happy with our boat.
Yes, we had a bit of season to sail from that point onwards, so August, September and October and November.
Yeah, we made the most of learning the boat, which we still are.
Yes.
Covering distance and also just chilling out because I think
it was very stressful.
Emotionally, mentally, we were pretty burnt out.
Yes.
But things.
So we are very happy with our nice boat, Samudra, which means ocean in Sanskrit. And hopefully in the next video we will show you the renaming ceremony, and hopefully maybe in a few videos, I'm not very sure because Hinton wants to do some upgrades to the boat. We would like to do a boat tour, which is my favorite thing.
No, it's definitely coming, but that will be in a little while still. So yeah, we've got from our next video, the renaming, then we'll show what we did make of the season. And then maybe some boat work over the time which we bought the boat until the future. And then a boat tour. But we've already done a bit of work to the boat which we haven't documented necessarily. We
are very bad with the camera. Honestly.
Just I don't know how many people want to see installing a diesel heater and fixing accelerator cables or things like this. And it's a bit difficult to hold a camera and do the work.
And I'm not going to hold it.
Well, anyway. So yeah, I guess.
So thank you for listening to our super long story. It was a long time to catch you up on since December 2023 until now, which we are in
September to August.
Now we are in December 2024 now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a bit more to come, and we look forward to having you guys along for the ride.